So I just went to Trader Joe's because my kid wanted some special strawberry sour gummy strip things that Trader Joe's sells. And I was like, all right, I'll go get them. So I went to Trader Joe's this morning, and it took, I don't know, 4 or 5 cycles of the right turn light to get into the Trader Joe's for me just to get into the parking lot. 4 or 5 full light cycles of just cars. It was so packed. And so finally I get in and I get to go in. I have to park all the way down at another store, just the far end of the shopping center. And I walk over with my 2 bags. I'm like, man, there's a lot going on here. There's tons of people there. And they've got a whole new shipment of flowers outside. There's all these people buying flowers. And I'm like, you know what? It's graduation week. Everybody's making, going out and buying bouquets for their kids, celebrating that graduation. Graduation is a huge moment in everybody's life, whether it be, at elementary school promotion or middle school promotion or actual high school or college graduation, to say goodbye to a segment of your education like that, to say, you know what, I finished this. It's great. It's like getting a receipt, for all the hard work that you finally did, you finally get the receipt for it. So there's all these people just buying flowers, and I go in and I shop, and man, it's Trader Joe's. It's packed. It's like 9 a.m. What is going on? Finally, I get through the checkout line, and and the guy says, "Sorry, we're out of the tote bags." And I was like, "What tote bags?" And he goes, "Oh, great, you don't need them." I said, "No, I gotta know what tote bags." And he says, "Oh, well, we got a shipment of these tote bags that are like a TikTok craze." And so I don't get it, but all these people were here, when we opened, we had a line around, the block waiting to get a hold of these $4 tote bags, and we're sold out. But we sold every one of them, and the place has been crazy all morning. I was like, tote bags, TikTok, what is going on? And it's just more proof that I'm getting old and I don't really understand what goes on in this world. But I wasn't asked for a tote bag, so I didn't have to get one, so I was fine. All I did was, burn half an hour of my time shopping for sour gummies. But hey, there are worse things you can do. There's nothing going on. Let's talk. Welcome back to Trent Takes On 2.0. I'm the Trent from the title of the show. I did an entire rant there for 2 minutes about going to Trader Joe's this morning and TikTok things. And you know what? I don't know. What do you expect from this show anymore? I started talking about things that happen in the world, and I see this as a pivotal moment in the future. What will be the history of the world. It's currently happening. It's hard to think about the things that you're living through as being historic while you're living through them, especially when it's not something like a war. Like, wars are always historic. But what we're witnessing is the downfall of the longest experiment in democratic history. And I feel like it's probably something that we should talk about more often. So that's why I talk about it a lot. That's why I talk about the Trump regime. Donald Trump wants to be remembered after he's dead. And he will be. Not in a positive way like he was hoping. But as the autocrat who brought down American democracy as we know it. Now, we'll rise from I'm jumping straight to the end here, kids. We'll rise from the ashes of this shit and be better off for it. The pendulum swing will go back the other way. It's going to happen. You cannot kick hornets' nests as a profession and not get stung. That's a weird metaphor, but if you think about it, it makes perfect sense. Stephen Colbert had 3.3 million viewers and had more viewers in his this was his final Monday on the show. He had more viewers than the other two, ABC and NBC, put together. Kimmel and Fallon put together. Colbert had a higher rating. So proof positive that when Donald Trump, the autocrat, hates something, people stand behind it. And that's a sign. See, that's a sign that you're on the wrong team, Donald, and people who support him. So, with that being said, what I wanted to talk to you about this week, add the other part of the sentence in there, Trent. Okay, I'll do it. What I wanted to talk to you about this week was not Trader Joe's. It wasn't sour gummies. It wasn't TikTok. It wasn't, you know what it is? It's a quote-unquote settlement, which isn't a settlement at all. It's a slush fund that was set up illegally. And, you know, it's already being challenged. So all of this is fresh. So I got to tell the backstory, right? Donald Trump sued the Department of Justice, sued the Treasury Department and the IRS for the leaking of his taxes that happened through a subcontractor. Now, he sued the IRS for $10 billion. And for the record, he wasn't the only one who had his taxes leaked through this subcontractor. Remember, not even the government itself, a subcontractor. He wasn't the only one who had his taxes leaked, who sued the government. Lots of people have sued the government for the same thing. Rich people. And the Department of Justice is fighting all of them, for the record. One guy, Ken Hayden, who is a super rich dude in New York, he settled for an apology. Didn't get a dime. Donald Trump sues for $10 billion. Now, you'd be hard pressed if you're Donald Trump to prove any kind of damages from the leaking of your tax returns. How were you hurt by this? Can you say, "Oh, well, I wasn't reelected president because of this"? Well, you did win in the election and after the leak, and I don't think that you can claim that this was harmful in any way. Anyway, the Department of Justice continues to fight everybody else, but for Donald Trump, who runs the federal government, the executive branch at least, they worked out a settlement. But they didn't work out a settlement. See, because Donald Trump dismissed or basically dropped the lawsuit with prejudice. It's referred to with prejudice, which means he can't rebring it. He can't bring it back. It's done. It's washed his hands of it. But in the quote unquote the finalization, the dropping of the case, there was no settlement attached, because any settlement has to be signed off on by the judge. Well, the judge in this case didn't believe that this should have gone on anyway, because there was no Donald Trump was on both sides of the lawsuit, right? This wasn't a him versus him situation. It was him versus himself. And in that case, you don't actually have a lawsuit. You just have a person who gets to settle with himself. And that's the situation that happened. Now, they didn't file a settlement with the court. They just dropped the lawsuit. Okay? There is no settlement. There's no settlement. I'll repeat that for those who aren't paying attention. There is no settlement. There is no legal settlement to this. Okay? Remember that. Because it goes further. According to Todd Blanche, the acting attorney general, so he isn't even the attorney general yet. He's auditioning for this job by building this agreement, which isn't a legal settlement. It's just an agreement. He has created a $1.776 billion fund. That's cute, isn't it? $1.776 1776. They're attaching patriotism to this fund. That's a cute number, isn't it? They literally did this to be cute. They couldn't have just rounded it to $2 billion. No. It's $1.776 billion. So very cute. This fund is designed to be, for recompense, for compensation for people who have been the victims of prosecutorial overreach, the weaponization of the Department of Justice. Now, specifically, they keep saying the Biden Department of Justice, which there's no proof that there was any weaponization of the Biden Department of Justice. There were 1,600 people who were indicted in some way following the events of January 6th, which were, at best, a riot in a place where riots are not allowed, trespass, and a public square that was defiled by these people. Everything from vandalism to assault on the officers attempting to protect our Capitol building. That's what happened on January 6th. And those 1,600 people who were either convicted by a jury of their peers, pled guilty to the charges against them, or were awaiting trial, were all pardoned the day that Donald Trump took office last year, January 20th, 2025. All of them were pardoned. Think about that. 1,600 people. Now, they claim that those people were prosecuted for First Amendment rights, for using their First Amendment rights. I don't remember the First Amendment saying that you could smear your own feces on the walls of the Capitol building. I mean, that happened. But I don't remember that being an acceptable form of free speech. I don't remember vandalization of our, the house of our government being acceptable free speech. I don't remember the assault of police officers being acceptable free speech. None of those are acceptable free speech. Those people who were tried and convicted or pled guilty or were in the process of being brought before a judge and jury of their peers, they were there because they committed crimes. That's why they required a pardon. So now they have this slush fund built, and I call it a slush fund because it's not legal. They're just setting aside money, taxpayer money, your money, my money, our money, if you happen to be an American citizen paying taxes, to pay to people who feel that the government was weaponized against them. The Department of Justice was weaponized against me. All I was doing was exercising my free speech. They could make every one of those 1,600 pardoned J6ers a millionaire with $1.776 billion and still have $176 million left over just for fun. So what message does this send to people who commit political violence and political destruction, political terrorism on behalf of Donald Trump? And what does it tell you? What message do you get? A, you get pardoned for it. You will not be held accountable for your misdeeds. And B, you will be paid handsomely for committing political violence on behalf of Donald, authoritarian, fascist dictator Trump. All of that, all those words are eventually going to either get me in trouble or I'll be seen as, one of those guys who was on the right side the whole time. I'm just saying. Think about it. A slush fund that they just set aside to pay off their militia. They don't have to give them each $1 million. They could give them each $100K. Have plenty of money left over. They could give them each $100K and then have $1 billion left over to give to Donald Trump. This is the most corrupt, over-the-top thing that they've done. And that's saying something because they've done hundreds of corrupt, over-the-top things. This one is straight up theft. And they did it in the open. And they announced it. And they put out a press release. And they took it to court, and then they dismissed it and made it go away. But it didn't go away. Because we created this fund over here on the side. And that's not even all. As part of the agreement, the non-settlement agreement, mind you, the IRS has to drop all audits of Donald Trump, his family, and his businesses, and agree to never bring another audit in the future of Donald Trump and his family and his businesses. All of which is illegal. There's actually a federal statute prohibiting any federal official from agreeing to dismiss audits or current or future. Just saying. If you were curious as to whether or not this was corrupt, it's unbelievably corrupt. It is the most corrupt thing they've done so far. And that is crazy to say. We should all be outraged on this one. Because Project $1.776 billion, as I like to call it now, I coined that, trademark. This one is so brazen, so vile, so over the top, that it is positively stunning in its scope. Now, 2 of the Capitol Police officers who were assaulted on January 6th have already sued to stop the implementation of this slush fund. Will they be successful? I don't know. By the letter of the law, they should absolutely be successful because this is straight up theft. There is no settlement. There is no settlement. And the Department of Justice is not imbued with the power to disperse funds without legal authority. They cannot just hand out money. It is not legal. So, as with so many other things over the last 16 fucking months of hell that we've had to endure. And that's right, today marks 16 months in office for the dictator-in-chief, the Mad King himself, Donald Trump. Of all the shit that we've seen in 16 months, this is the worst, which is fucking crazy because we've seen insane stuff. So you should be outraged about this. How about something else you should be outraged about? The people in charge of Donald Trump's money have made 3,700 stock trades in the last 4 months. 3,700 stock trades. That's an average of 40 a day. It's actually 3 months, over the last 3 months. It is approximately 100 times what they did in the last year. So they've basically accelerated their trading by 100 times. Now, what are they trading in? What kind of stocks are they trading in? They're buying petrol stocks, gas and oil. They're buying technology stock, and they're buying military stock and Boeing, and things like that. And they're buying it all in the moments or hours before Donald Trump makes announcements to either buy that stock, buy Boeing. I think it was Intel. It told everybody to buy Intel stock after he had purchased over $1 million in Intel stock. Think about it. They are using policy decisions as insider trading tools to grift for more money. It's just another example. Just another example of obviously impeachable behavior. And for the record, for those of you who are like, well, he's immune from everything, he's actually not in this case, because trading stock is not a presidential activity. It's not an official use of power. So, not immune on this one. We'll see what happens. Trading on insider stocks is a federal crime. It's also a state crime in New York, just so you know. And he can't pardon himself from that. We'll see what happens. Awful stuff. We also continue to see Donald Trump flex his power in Republican primaries. He gets the hardest of the hardcore MAGA base to vote against incumbents who are running for re-election that he doesn't like. He got Bill Cassidy, the senator from Louisiana, last week. It was on Saturday. It was the final tally on that. Bill Cassidy came in third in a Republican primary, a jungle-style primary. So the top two move on. No, it wasn't a Republican jungle style. Anyway, he's out. He is out. The Trump-backed candidate got 48% of the vote. Cassidy only got 26%. So, does that mean Donald Trump is powerful? No, it does not. In fact, here's another fun fact. He also defeated his enemy, Thomas Massie, in the House. He was run for re-election, his House seat in Kentucky. Thomas Massie lost that election, 54 to 46, I believe is the final tally, give or take. So Massie loses by about 8 points. Donald Trump's preferred person wins. There was a lot of money dumped into this race. A lot of money dumped into this race to defeat Thomas Massie. And it worked. But keep in mind, Donald Trump was really mad at Thomas Massie, and Massie still got 46% of the vote. Think about that for a second. The Trump stranglehold on the Republican Party was supposed to be 80, 90%. But it's not, is it? It's really not, is it? So when you extrapolate this thing, think about what they're doing with all of these gerrymanders, all of these district redrawings, all of these things that they're doing to try to game the system so that they keep the House in 2026 here. They're using the voting results of 2024, where Donald Trump made inroads across the board. Every demographic, every possible permutation of weird swing voters, he got an amazing return on. Democrats stayed home. He won a ton of independents that nobody saw coming. And therefore, he's president again. So they've redrawn the maps based off of that data. Well, he's become incredibly unpopular with all those swing voters that put him in office. He's lost a huge number of Republicans. And when I say huge number, it's just a large gross number. It's not a huge percentage. But he has lost a percentage of Republicans because he promised them no more foreign wars. Yet here we are in week 11 in a new war in Iran that he started alongside Bibi Netanyahu for no reason at all. Fun fact, just this morning, Donald Trump said that his approval rating in Israel is 99% and that maybe after this, he'll run for Prime Minister of Israel. Think about it for a second, kids. The America First president is now talking, even jokingly, about running for Prime Minister in Israel. Also, he's not Jewish, so I don't know how he would really do there. Just for fun. I just wanted to throw that in for fun. Donald Trump continues to say crazy shit nonstop. Like, I don't think about the pain and suffering of Americans and their financial situations at all. All I think about is keeping Iran from having a nuclear weapon. He keeps repeating that over and over again. In fact, just today, he said, the pain at the pump, it's not important. People will have to endure it for a little while, but the important thing is Iran doesn't get a nuclear weapon. Here's the problem, Donald Trump. You've told over 50,000 lies in the 5 years and 4 months you've been president. They actually keep track of this stuff. Why do we think that you're telling the truth now? You're not. We know you're not. We know that you're not telling the truth, as usual, because you never tell the truth. I think that there is a truth in there, though, that you don't actually care about people having to pay more for gas because you don't give a shit. It doesn't affect you. In fact, it does affect him a little bit when we pay more for gas because all of those stocks that he's bought shares of, all of those Exxon Mobil stocks, all of the Shell oil stocks, all of those bad boys, man, they go up in value because we're paying more, because their profits are higher. And so Donald Trump makes more money when we suffer. Yeah, so there is a little nugget of truth in there. But even that's at least partially a lie. He does care. He's happy with it. He's happy we pay more for gas. He's happy that inflation is up. He doesn't care about the ramifications. That's the part that's real. So they spread out all these Republican voters in these new gerrymandered spots, but Donald Trump has lost a lot of favor. He's lost favor with his own voters. They're not creating new Republican voters. They're just trying to divvy up the last ones. Well, what they are creating is a bunch of people who are formerly on the sidelines. The largest voting contingent in the United States is non-voters. Fun fact, when your turnout is, 58%, 60%, 62%, that means that 38% of people who could vote aren't. Those are the people you have to win. Those are the people that if we could get them off the sidelines and in the game, we can really make a difference. Like what happened in Viktor Orban's Hungary. The 2026 midterms could really tell a story. They could tell a story of a democracy reinventing itself. Because people are realizing that the choices that we make as individuals when we vote have ramifications on all of us, whether we voted or not. So maybe it's a good idea for everyone to have their voices heard so that you don't have Donald Trump calling all the shots and a bunch of Republican lapdogs just sucking up to him. I think that's the story this 2026 midterm is going to tell because I'm a positive, optimistic person at this point because you have to be. I see a lot of negativity. I see a lot of people going, well, none of the things that I do make a difference. That's not true. They do. You caring, you doing even the small thing that we expect of you, which is just vote. Just vote. Just that. That makes a difference. So do it. Register yourself and the people that you love. Get them on board too. And vote. That's step one. If you can go further, go for it. If you feel like it'll make you feel better to go further to phone bank or do postcards or go to a rally or do door knocking, go for it. Because you know what? It will make you feel better. You'll feel amazing. Cool. Awesome sauce. I love that. Go to a rally. Meet some people. Have your mind blown that you're not alone. And if you listen to this, you're on Team Democracy. Or you're hate listening and have like a lot of hate in your heart. We're in this together. And it's not just for us. It's for the future. The time is now to make a difference. So, let's make a difference. Let's be positive. Let's be upbeat. Let's look forward. Let's identify the people who can make the change and help them make the change. Sometimes it's hard. For instance, the California governor's race. God damn it, why? Why are there so many chuckleheads in this jungle primary thinking that they've got a shot. Looks like it's Javier Becerra who, boring. Okay. I don't know. I don't even know yet. All I know for certain is I don't want the two Republicans to be the only two options we have. And if they come in first and second in this primary of, 40 people, that'll be our choice. You can either have British Republican or crazy Riverside Sheriff Republican. Oh, God. God save us. We really need to get this primary right. So, all that said, there's a whole lot in there. I wanted to talk about the slush fund. I wanted to talk about the gerrymandering backfiring. And I also wanted to update everybody on my poor little puppy, Leia, who had her surgery. She is spayed now. She tore open her sutures, which apparently is normal because they use these dissolving sutures and glue. And oftentimes these young active dogs like mine can tear those open. And that's what happened. So I had to go to the ER with her and have her resutured, this time with like the legit hardcore sutures. And after days of having to watch her like a hawk because she refuses to wear a cone, she will literally hurt herself worse trying to get it off. She is back to frisky and normal. It doesn't seem to be affecting her. So she's back in the saddle and doing well. So it is what it is. Sometimes these things happen. You can't control an animal per se. You can only contain it. They're still animals. They still have free will, even if they're domesticated. But little Leia is going to be fine, and she's back and happy and spoiled out of her mind. And I have no idea how I'm going to fix that. So it looks like I've just got a dog that was spoiled before. Now she's super duper ultra spoiled, and I've got to cope with that. But you know what? I may have added a couple years to her life, and I'm real happy about that. I'm happy that she's recovered almost completely. And we'll just keep doing. You know what I mean? She means a lot to me. She's a piece of the family now. So, with all that done, my kids are almost out of school. They're out officially tomorrow. So, I don't know what my timing is going to look like going forward, but I kind of have to record early in the morning because summers here in beautiful Southern California are hot as F. There you go. Hot AF. And so if you record early in the morning, you could probably get it out before everybody starts sweating. And the studio here is a garage, and man, it is already hot, and it's only 80 degrees outside right now. But details. I won't bother you with any more of that. I do appreciate every single one of you for being with me on this journey. If you're here this long, you are special. And I really do love and appreciate you for having a good heart and being here with me. This journey means a lot for all of us. I hope that I bring some semblance of sanity to the people who listen. You're not alone. I keep saying that because sometimes it may feel like you're alone, but you are definitely not alone. In fact, you're in the majority still, a growing majority, mind you. So let's be positive, put one foot in front of the other, and be kind, kick ass, and be good humans. It's the least we can do. Until next time, once again, thank you. I'll be back with you shortly. Much love. Stay strong.